Hi there, this is Jasmine from B-GHUD and I have with me Ansi.
Hi.
And I have Mr. Abraham Vargas. So he's a retired barrister among many other things, and he's been in the UK for the past 45 years, and we're very privileged to have him here with us. So welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. That was too kind an introduction. I will say namaste to you all, and thank you very much for this opportunity. I only hope that you can pick something out of it and something that is useful. So I'll do my best, and we can get started whenever you're ready.
Sure, sir. So the first topic for the day that we thought that we could discuss is how English should be spoken.
Well, like every language, there requires clarity of diction. That means you must be able to speak it in clear terms, pronouncing each and every word the way it should be pronounced. If you do not pronounce it in the correct manner, then the meaning will not be understood. And if there is no clarity of diction, what you say in toto will also not be understood. So clarity of diction. Okay.
And what are the other pointers that you feel?
You must understand that the English language has only got 26 alphabets. And so, therefore, those alphabets are used to express numerous words, which includes also foreign words, Latin words, French, where they have a lot of their origins from. And then they have used Indian words and African words as they have become more used when they were controlling the world. So you must be simple, okay? Make things simple. Don't go about saying something and expanding on it yourself in order to ask a question. Ask the question, okay? We have a habit of giving the whole of the Ramayana and Mahabharata before we ask the question, have you read the Ramayana and the Mahabharata?
Okay.
Well, why can't you just ask, have you read the Ramayana and Mahabharata? That is another thing.
Simplicity matters, basically.
Yes.
So try to convey things the way that you want.
Simply, so that you have control of what you say. And the person who's listening to you understands that simple way that you've communicated. There is no point in trying to use big terms. They have their meanings. They are very, very, very good in specific instances of discussion. But we are talking about communicating English in a simple manner without making it complicated, A, for yourself, and B, for the person or people listening to you.
So there is no need of using jargon words?
No, I mean, avoid all that. It's only just fanciful, and it only just causes confusion. And if you think that using quotations, for example, is going to cover a lot of sins, you're mistaken. There's nothing more boringly difficult than to hear somebody quoting somebody else, unless you're making a public speech, in which case it is relevant. When you acknowledge somebody's words or thoughts or whatever else, then it is right to refer to them and use the quotations. You're expected to use the quotations, not your own words. You can, of course, say, I borrowed this from so-and-so, which is fine. Okay, and don't think that quotations from Shakespeare or Bacon or whoever else gives you a complete answer or shows your knowledge. No, that's all old-fashioned, and it more shows your ignorance because you really haven't understood what is meant by that. You've not seen a hawthorn bush, so how can you talk about an hawthorn bush?
Got it.
Okay, you've not seen Nottingham Forest. Well, okay. So what you're talking about? Certain phrases, of course, some of they do have meaning.
Yeah.
But when you use it, and it is used in a broad term, there are many meanings you can pick out of it.
Basically, clarity of diction, simple words try to
Yes.
convey your thoughts.
What
And
if the person is more poetic in the way he speaks?
Well, you see, poetic language comes out when you're actually writing poetry or you're discussing poetry, you're having a session of poetry, and so on. Why should you try to be poetic when it's not necessary? Yeah, what we are, you see, we got to understand that, for example, just to take a simple example, Malayalam, we've got 56 words, or alphabets rather, okay? So we express ourselves a lot more. Do you understand? That shows a certain kind of depth also, all right? A certain kind of ambience in the words. Whereas English is more staccato-like. Okay, it is cut and dry.
okay.
Right? And when we use those 56 alphabets, we naturally stretch it. Okay? And of course, Malayalam is the fastest speaking language in the world. Okay? In other words, it is the speed at which we speak Malayalam cannot be matched by anybody else. Okay?
Coming to English and what
Yes.
we were talking about, and to IELTS in specific.
Yes.
So, what do you think, especially in listening, we hear different accents. So, what would you say is a better way, or what would you suggest would be a pointer or a tip for students to understand when different accents are being spoken?
Well, you can't help it. You see, like we have accents that are in Palakkad, typical, Thrissur, typical, Ernakulam, typical, Trivandrum,
When it
typical,
comes to
Alapi,
English.
typical. So in each region, you're going to have a different accent and a different context. Okay? You could say, for example, in Alapi, Pallipuano, or, are you going to church? It has one context. If you say that in, let's say, Guruvayur, Palliponondo, okay, it has got a different text.
Fine.
You see? So the context is very important and it changes from region to region. The most pronounced accents in England are the Irish.
Okay.
Okay, they are a bit difficult to understand sometimes, but full of jokes and wonderful sense of humor. They are Celts, just like the Scottish. The Scottish language is extremely difficult to understand, believe you me. Especially though that's spoken in Glasgow, in that particular region. Then you have the Liverpudlian accent, which is round to Liverpool. And they are mainly Irish also. And that has got a very different slant. Okay. Then you got the Brummie accent, which is people from Birmingham. Then you got the Manchester accent. Okay. And then for each region. Now, when you go towards London, you get people speaking very straight, common English. All right. And you must understand that the English spoken, the manner of its speaking, the delivery of its speaking, etc., has also got to do with class.
Okay.
All right? Now, for example, you go to London and you will have the Cockneys who have created out of English as a kind of language in order to avoid the police understanding what it was, because they were mainly the poor people, lovely-hearted people who loved to thieve to survive. So the police used to catch them. So they started creating a different form of language, okay, called Cockney.
So it won't be clear for the
Exactly.
Coming back to IELTS, I think you're trying to say that keep an eye or a ear out for the tone, the intonation, the way it's spoken.
Indeed, and you must be careful also because of which region you are in.
Okay.
If you go to Norfolk, you get a different accent. If you go to Essex, you get a different accent.
But since as students we are listening to different audios, and at times it is overwhelming for students.
Yes.
When it comes to listening.
And
Yes.
some of them try to pick up a fake accent in order
For
to
speech.
No. You see, if you try and make up, create an accent, it's strain on you. You will end up mispronouncing.
You'll end up having a lack of ideas, or
You lose out on many other factors. So instead of that, Make it as simple as you have spoken English, but you speak it correctly and pronounce the words correctly. And then you'll find it easily to transmit it across and be understood by the other person.
Got it.
Okay? And make it simple. Simplicity is the most difficult thing to understand, but if you try and make it simple, lots of meanings get clearer.
Yes.
All right.
So to conclude, I think we can say that these are just some of the ways in which
Indeed, just some of the ways in which you got to,
English
yes.
can be spoken, and we hope this video was useful. And so that's all from us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Namaskar.